Hi, I'm Tim Probert. I'm the editor of Personal Care magazine. We're here in SES Formulate in Coventry, UK. And now I'm with Emma Meredith, who is the Director General of the CTPA. Hi, good to see you, Emma.
Hello, Tim.
How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Lovely to be here. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. So the CTPA, for those who don't know, is a trade association.
Yes, it's the Cosmetic, Toiletry and Perfumery Association, so the UK Trade Association for the cosmetics and personal care industry.
Brilliant. And you're Welsh.
I am indeed fiercely proud of being Welsh and fiercely proud of being a scientist as well.
Whereabouts in Wales are you from?
I'm from Merthyr Tydfil in the Valleys.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Lovely accent. Okay, so I was listening to your presentation earlier at the Inform sessions here at Formulate, and you were talking about something that caught my ear was the SAGCS, which you were saying is it's a key strategic priority for the CTPA, where you want to harmonise formulations so companies can use the formulations in the EU and the UK. So can you tell me more about this and why it's so important?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are well regulated in the UK and in the rest of the EU with our cosmetic regulation, and an important part of our products obviously are the ingredients. And actually the UK and the EU mirror each other very similarly in their ingredient management. If there are any ingredients of concern, then in both jurisdictions data are submitted to the relevant expert bodies, and the SAGCS is the Scientific Advisory Group for Chemical Products and Consumer Safety in the UK, so that's the equivalent of the SCCS in the EU.
Yes.
And what's very, very important is that companies can use the same ingredients and use the same formulation to place on both the UK and the EU market if they wish. And CTPA works really, really closely with the EU consortia who have developed the robust scientific defence of these ingredients for submission at the EU level for continued safe use, so that we can provide those robust data to the SAGCS in the UK.
Yeah. And in general, are the EU and the UK converging or diverging?
So currently, our regulatory frameworks are very, very close. The UK cosmetics regulation mirrors the EU cosmetics product regulation. We have a little bit of passive divergence because the EU is already on its pathway of reviewing ingredients, so they may the legislation might come out a little bit sooner than in the UK. And the UK has its own work plan, but it also tends to mirror the EU. So we do actually have ingredients regulated in the UK just a little bit behind the EU.
Yeah.
In the future, we don't know where the regulations may go and whether they diverge, but again, sort of making a pledge, that's the beauty of having a trade association that is on top of that and can inform the industry. But also it is fair to say that the SAGCS has come out with slightly different opinions in some ingredients, which means that if you want to have a UK-only product and in certain areas, then you may have higher concentrations of ingredients that you may want to use. And I think that is a really important thing to champion the UK as a standalone nation now.
So the agency for in the UK is the OPSS?
OPSS is the Office of Product Safety and Standard, that's our regulator, and the SAGCS is the independent set of scientists. The OPSS asks the SAGCS to look at any ingredients of concern. Industry puts forward their dossiers. The SAGCS does the risk assessment, so comes out with its risk assessment, and then it's up to OPSS to do the risk management tools and regulate accordingly.
Okay, and so it's for the ingredient makers, is there anything coming out from the OPSS that they need to be aware of if they're looking to sell into the UK? Is there things coming down the pipe?
Nothing that I don't think is any different from in the EU. So again, obviously it's important to keep on top of what the UK is looking at. The SAGCS publishes its work plan, the ingredients that it's likely to be looking at for the remainder of the year, 10 ingredients, no surprises compared with what's being looked at an EU level. So no surprises at the moment, I don't believe.
Okay, and the EU itself, there's been ban on microplastics and so on. And, silicones. Do you see, there were rumours a couple of years ago that they were looking at SCS, SLES. Are they still going down that prescriptive route of banning chemicals, or are they rowing back a bit?
So I don't think there are anything at the moment on SLES or SLS at an EU level, and certainly not at a UK level. I think it's important to remember that there are various pieces of legislation that impact on cosmetic products. So we have obviously the Cosmetics Product Regulation, both the UK and the EU, but we also have chemicals legislation, so the CLP, it's very acronym heavy industry, so classification, labelling and packaging regulation, and REACH, chemicals legislation. So both CLP and REACH are hazard-based pieces of legislation,
right.
so they will look at and classify an ingredient based on their intrinsic hazard properties, of which all chemical has, even water. I think where our concern was, that where perhaps the Commission may have been going in the past, was looking at just banning ingredients based on hazard potential, which actually means that you could end up having no chemicals. Even water you would ban if you inhale it. Obviously that's not good for you.
Sure.
I think that what is great in and what we want to be able to have this balance is the cosmetics regulation is risk-based, which means that you would look at an ingredient, yes, it may have hazard properties, but the way it is used in a cosmetic product is very much controlled, the exposure is known, the usage is known, and if it is safe to use in a cosmetic product, then it should be allowed. If it's not safe to use in a cosmetic product, then we would ban it. But I think it's important to have that risk assessment approach, which is so important to us as an industry.
And you think that message is getting through?
I think that, I think certainly the new commission, so we have a new commission every so often, we had a new commission and a new parliament came in last year. Certainly the focus of the new commission seems to be competitiveness, which is great, is to be championed, so it's looking at how it can perhaps simplify pieces of legislation so that businesses can perhaps move away from some of the regulatory burden to focus on growth while not sacrificing product or consumer safety. So I think that is something that is to be welcomed actually.
Excellent. And in terms of the CTPA itself, you've got your various campaigns, and you had a seminar last week, international seminar. How did that go?
Oh, that was fantastic. So that's one of our flagship events. We hold it every other year. So 2 days we were at Sellout. It's a member-only event. And we basically did a tour over the world, had great international speakers that came over and gave their time looking at the Americas, Asia, the Pacific. We had governments talking. So people who rightly want to promote UK products and export to all parts of the world. We're given a real guided tour of how you do that, and yes, the challenges, but also the fantastic opportunities out there, and CTPA helping to unlock those with free trade agreements with the government.
Free trade agreements, excellent. And just finally then, in terms of what's new with the CTPA, new campaigns, new strategies, what's coming? Anything new with you guys?
So so if we're talking about ingredients, then it's a key strategic priority to work with industry, both at a UK and an EU level, to make sure that if there are calls for data, that we can provide those robust information. From a regulatory point of view, perhaps not so important for your members, but very important for the industry, looking at EPR for packaging, making sure that companies are looking at their packaging and making them as recyclable as they can do. And perhaps just a forward thinking, and perhaps to come back to, we're certainly looking at on a communications campaign for on the reputation of the industry, where perhaps children are being encouraged on social media to use products that maybe not appropriate them from their age point of view. Yes. Big piece of work that's coming down the line, so maybe this is a FYI for later on in the year. I'd love to catch up on that later in the year. I
have a young daughter and I know all about that. So.
It is a real worry. It's a worrying trend on social media, and we want to be able to provide guidance for parents who perhaps want to start that conversation with their children about what age-appropriate skincare is like at young ages. So the products themselves are safe, but they're just not intended for children, and it's not appropriate for them. So yes, it's something for the future.
Definitely, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for your time, Emma.
Thank you very much,
wonderful.
Tim. Lovely to be here. Thank you.